Smiling Man by the Faceless Storyteller. The old Marigold Carnival had been closed for almost 2 decades, yet the fairground still stood, rotting on the outskirts of town. The Ferris wheel was rusted, its skeletal frame creaking in the wind. The roller coaster tracks were half collapsed, eaten away by time. The game booths were filled with dust-covered prizes that no one would ever claim. And yet, despite its decay, the town never truly let the carnival die, because people still saw things, heard things, especially at night. They said the laughter never stopped, that if you got too close to the gates, you could hear a faint giggle dancing through the air, echoing from the shadows. Some swore they saw someone moving inside, a tall figure in a faded red suit, his white painted face cracked and peeling, his grin stretched wide. They called him the Smiling Man. No one knew his real name. No one remembered where he came from, but they all knew the stories. Chapter 1, The Dare. It was a cold October night when four friends, Noah, Sam, Lily, and Ben, stood outside the rusted entrance of Marigold Carnival, their breath visible in the frigid air.
You guys really believe that crap?
Noah scoffed, kicking a loose rock toward the gate.
It's just an old fairground. No ghosts, no clowns, no nothing.
Ben adjusted his glasses.
Tell that to the kids who went missing.
Lily shuddered.
That's just a myth.
Sam smirked.
Only one way to find out.
They had a plan. Sneak in, take a selfie at the funhouse, and leave. Just a stupid dare. Bragging rights. They climbed through a hole in the fence, stepping onto cracked pavement covered in dead leaves. The carnival stretched before them, frozen in time. It was too quiet. No animals, no insects, just silence. And then they all turned. No one had moved, but something had stepped on the leaves behind them. Lily laughed nervously.
Probably just a raccoon.
They pressed on. Chapter 2, The Funhouse. The entrance to the funhouse was warped with age. Its once bright paint, now faded and chipped. A faded banner hung above the doorway. Smile for the mirror, and the mirror smiles back. Noah went in first, his phone flashlight flickering as he moved through the distorted hallways. The others followed, their reflections stretching and twisting in the cracked mirrors. Lily gasped.
Huh? That one is green.
Noah approached, grinning.
Must be a prop. Come on, let's take the selfie and get the hell out of here.
They huddled together. Lily snapped the picture. And then, the tall figure standing behind them, dressed in red, grinning. Sam spun around. Nothing was there. Ben checked the phone, his hands shaking. The picture was still there, but in the reflection, the clown had gotten closer. Noah's voice wavered.
We need to leave now.
Lily whimpered.
Where's the door?
The entrance was gone. The mirrors had shifted, closing in on them. The reflection of the clown moved again. He raised a hand and waved. Then the lights flickered, and the laughing began. Chapter 3, The Escape. The funhouse filled with echoes of giggles and cackles bouncing off the walls. The sound was everywhere, Ben was the first to run. He crashed into a mirror, expecting it to shatter. Instead, he fell through it. Lily screamed as he disappeared. Sam grabbed her, wrist and bolted, dragging her down the maze-like corridors. Noah was right behind them. The laughter grew louder, closer. Shadows flickered in. The mirrors, grinning faces, watching them from every angle. They turned a corner and ran straight into Ben. He stood frozen, eyes wide in terror. His voice trembled.
Guys, look.
They followed his gaze to a massive mirror in front of them. Their reflections were there, except they weren't moving. The four of them stood in the glass, eyes wide, mouths open in silent screams, trapped. And behind their reflections, the smiling men stood tall. One by one, their reflections turned to face him and smiled. Then the glass shattered. Chapter 4, The Aftermath. The next morning, police were called to the old Marigold Carnival. A neighbor reported hearing screaming. They searched the funhouse. No bodies, no footprints, nothing. Only a single, dust-covered phone left behind. The last picture on it showed 4 teenagers in a funhouse mirror and a clown smiling closer than before. Like and subscribe.